explain first of all then why your partner is an exiled Russian public figure. Why did that happen? What was the reason?
Well, that happened a while back because now we're seeing more people escaping Russia. But he moved to the UK, I believe, about 13 years ago, because at the time he was under attack and his business was under attack from people close to Putin. So he had to sell his very successful business, which he had no intention of selling. And again, the fear was that they're going to create a criminal case against him, which they did, but he managed to escape the country prior to that. So the criminal case was subsequently dropped, but unfortunately he hasn't been able to return, and obviously now he's very unlikely to in the nearest future. So yeah, so he's been one of the first, I guess, exiles for political reasons.
And can I just work out how you fit into all of this as well? Where were you born? When did you come here?
I was born in Leningrad, USSR, in 1987, and I came here 2009 for completely different reasons, not
Right,
political
I
at all,
see.
just as a young girl, and yeah, and we subsequently met here through work.
I see.
So my family has always been very vocal, in opposition to Putin. I've attended numerous protests, and every time when I went to Russia up until a year ago, I still, even when I was there, I tried to attend all those protests, and I think that the one for when one of the leaders of the opposition was killed in 2015, that was the biggest one I attended, and it's certainly sad that these are not happening anymore. But at the same time, we sitting here in London don't have any moral right, I don't think, to try and blame those people in Russia that they are remaining silent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if those, if those protests still go on. There was at one point where we were reporting them in St. Petersburg, etc., but they seem to have died down.
Because my mum is in St. Petersburg, and I begged her not to participate because she's 75 and she went to every single one of them.
Yes.
And when you've seen the footage of elderly women being beaten up and young kids being
Yeah.
arrested, I think it takes extreme amount of courage to go out there and talk openly.
What is the situation? Now, London is sometimes called Londongrad. What is it like for Russians here now? Is there a kind of clear divide between, Russians who support Putin and those who don't?
I'm sure there is. We are, definitely as a couple, would be considered very toxic for anyone who supports Putin. So, of course, all our friends and most people we know are of our political views. Again, it's definitely had an impact on Russian community, and from everyone just being really depressed and really worried about friends and family in the Ukraine, because the drama and the tragedy of it really is that I have 30% Ukrainian blood in me. I'm Russian. I have lots of friends there. I have relatives there. So it's, it has touched everyone on a very personal level. And again, there have been problems for Russians, I believe, with bank accounts being closed and frozen, even for those who do not support Putin, because I think, the rule applies to everyone, and no one is currently looking into what your political views actually are. So there have been stories of people who actually, support lots of charitable causes in the Ukraine, who send medical aid to the Ukraine, but their accounts in the UK have been frozen just because they have a Russian passport.
Has that happened to you?
That has happened to my partner.
Really?
Yeah. Who has been, there are very few. Maybe Alexi Navalny has been more vocal than Yevgeny. So yeah, I think, again, it's all very new. So hopefully further down the line, there will be some systems in place to tell the good Russians from bad Russians, so to speak. But
Right.
yeah.
And you mentioned Alexei Navalny. You are I mean, it says that you are friends with Alexei Navalny. Did you know him before he was jailed?
Oh yeah, yeah. For several years. Again, there are not that many opposition leaders in Russia,
Yeah.
and we're very friendly with his wife as well. Now, when Alexei is in prison, we saw them after he got poisoned. We saw them in Germany and tried to convince him not to go back, but he was adamant, and we now see the results, unfortunately.
So he's still in jail, and then there have been some concerns about his health. What do you know about how he is?
I don't think we know any more than everyone else because the communication is very limited. He has been really unwell because he's in a cell which is maybe, I don't know, half of this room, and they keep putting sick people into his cell on purpose and don't give him any medical treatment whatsoever. So if you've seen latest pictures of him, it's quite frightening how a strong and healthy 40-year-old man now looks so frail. And again, he's got, I think, about half an hour a day with pen and paper to communicate anything. So very limited access to his lawyers as well.
Now, compared to Alexei Navalny, obviously, you've said this already, you're in a fortunate position. You are here, you are safe. I presume you feel safe
Very
in
much
London.
so. Maybe I'm naive, but...
Well, hopefully not. How do you feel about the prospect of ever getting back to Russia, even on, any kind of visit? What would that take?
That would take the change of the regime, definitely, and some guarantees from the new regime to everyone that they will be safe. Because currently, I think if we go back, we will just join Alexei, because apart from him, there are so many regular people who have been given real sentences for just calling the war the war. So you don't have to say anything particularly brave or crazy to be put into jail.
Okay.